It is the most loneliest show on the Post Wrestling Network because after multiple weeks of calling in favors, going to Andrew Thompson, calling up Uncle Nate, even dragging Braden Harrington onto this show, I have probably run the gamut of co-hosts that I can possibly coerce into sitting down and watching Raw for 3 hours on a Monday night. So here I am, all by myself, and we are going to be getting into tonight's show from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. But man, it is hot here in Toronto, folks. It's been a scorcher outside. I don't know, for the Torontonians out there, it felt like 35 today. So I am just roasting here in my basement apartment here, and wouldn't you know that potentially I have someone to join me. Just maybe. Is it him? Is it really him? Ladies and gentlemen, as you two put it best, it's a beautiful day. And here he is back. We're going to see if he's got some mic rust. He is back. It is Father Ting himself. Wait, are you there, my man?
John, Daddy's home. I'm back. Wow.
Wait a minute. There's one thing we're missing in the spirit. Oh, look at that.
Oh, look at this. Wow. The master of the tease. Okay. Great setup for this whole thing. Great acting, I have to say. And, the master of the technical, everything these past few weeks. You have been tremendous. And as always, you exceed my expectations for what you can handle on your plate for an entire month this time. So thank you, John. It's a wonderful privilege to be back.
Yes, let's give it a second for the round of applause from the chat room. It's been quite the month. I think it only took a couple of days before I messaged you and said, dude, I can't fathom all the stuff you do, that you just keep quiet to yourself, that just all this stuff just runs on time. It's always there's always a graphic for everything. There's always a description. Everything's edited, levelated, all of this stuff. There's one guy that makes sure all this happens. It's Way, and I got to see firsthand over the last 4 weeks what all that is, that encompasses the Way Ting experience here at Post Wrestling.
I mean, this really is at least a two-man job, if not more than that. And so anytime we're, a person short, whether it's you off or me off, I think we each gain an appreciation of what the other does. But, I've asked a lot of you this week or this month, because it's been an entire month that I've been away for my paternity leave. So, week after week of you having to, do as much as you do on top of everything that I was doing, I have to just continue to thank you, always. And in addition to you, our entire incredible staff that I'm so happy, like our audience is able to, see a whole lot more of, hear a whole lot more of lately. So many standout acts I think we have now in our post wrestling database of people that we can rely on, and hopefully more in the future as well. So thank you to everybody, and thank you for the entire audience for continuing to listen.
So Way, you are officially a father now. You are coming back. You are very much our Johnny Gargano that has, you haven't been away from a microphone this long since you were 8 years old. But tell us all about baby Ting, whatever you are willing to share with us over this past month. I'm sure a life-changing experience.
Well, I won't be super kicking you, so I think maybe that analogy ends there. But yes, I've had a wonderful, 2 weeks now of getting to know my kid. His name is Oscar. And thus far, it's been a lot of diapers. I feel like I'm a bit of a pro right now already, in changing diapers, as I'm sure you could attest to, John, 2 weeks into your fatherhood.
Dude, 5 years.
5 years. There you go. Exactly. So, it's been a lot of that. It's been a lot of, lately screaming and, doing my best to put the guy to sleep, every 3 hours, a lot of, fitting in naps whenever I can get them. And, today will be a huge experiment, not just for, I think myself, but, for my wife as well, who, is on solo duty for at least the next few hours as I, do the show as I usually do. And then, take the overnight shift. But, I will say I'm pretty optimistic because I maintain pretty pretty crazy hours anyway. And if anything, I was born to be a late night, diaper changer. So I'm looking forward to it.
That's wonderful. The nights have been they've been okay.
They've been all right. Yeah, yeah. I mean, off and on. We definitely have our kind of moments trying to catch up. But I honestly, like, every difficulty is a privilege. I've enjoyed every single second of it so far. And you can ask me again, maybe 2 months into this, how much of the late nights I'll appreciate. But thus far, every single moment has been absolutely tremendous.
Well, that's fantastic news. I've tried not to bother you too much over these last couple of weeks. I've been checking in. I didn't know what my official protocol was allowed to be, but I was checking in every now and then. But also want to give you plenty of space. The last thing you needed was a text from me.
It's always welcome, always welcome. And in fact, I want to shout out your wife as well, who's been a tremendous help to my life. Actually, somebody who's been able to offer a lot of great. I don't know, just like a kind of big sister sort of insight into the whole process. And, I'm sure there's a whole lot you and I can now.
Maybe they can do Raw next week.
I would love to hear that. And then maybe we'll kind of talk about, breastfeeding and all that stuff. We'll go through all that stuff, you and I.
All right. Well, plenty of Oscar to learn about in the weeks and months to come. But that's Patreon content, folks. You're just getting Raw tonight. That's it. But yes, we have. So tell me a little bit about what, if any, you have followed over the past month. I mean, have you been kind of dipping in and out? What's sort of been your schedule this last month when it comes to just keeping up with the various programs?
Well, I'll tell you. I mean, I don't know if I'll ever really find myself to have this sort of opportunity again to take as big of a step back from doing this day to day as I had over the past month. So I really wanted to, especially in the 2 weeks while we were waiting for the baby to arrive, I wanted to just detox, from everything. But as much as I tried to, like, I still have very much of a fan's curiosity about the things that were happening, especially as, WWE was under this new regime and seeing so much like positive change, I will say. And I still very much find myself like routinely out of habit, like turning on wrestling on a Monday night, Wednesday night, and, occasionally Friday night now as well, just to kind of check in. So I still largely stayed plugged in. I was not watching as intently as obviously I would, while doing these shows, having something to talk about. But like, I would have it on in the background. I would listen to podcasts. I still have a general interest in that. But I will say, like, largely my catch up was like the week prior to returning this week, doing, 2x viewings of a lot of things. But I'm largely like pretty caught up. Tomorrow I'm going to spend a lot of time catching up, really kind of more on the nuts and bolts of like what I've missed of AEW so far. So, but I'm keeping up on all the stories. Yeah, I recognize this. I know everything that's been happening, but I really want to like be able to say I've seen every single frame, even if it's like, double speed or something.
So Wei Ting is back full time. He's not coming in to do a part-time schedule, folks. We are throwing him into the gauntlet this week. So we will be back. We have Dynamite on Wednesday night, SmackDown and Rampage on Friday, and then this weekend we will be doing 2 post shows because what a welcome back weekend for Wei Ting. After you just got through labor, we're going through the pains of Labor Day weekend with 2 pay-per-views. Clash at the Castle, that's happening Saturday afternoon, and then All Out on Sunday. So we will do shows after both of those. Saturday will be a post-wrestling cafe show. Sunday will be free for everybody, with Davey and Braden joining us to go through both Worlds Collide and the All Out pay-per-view. You are not required to watch Worlds Collide. I'm largely going to pass that off to Davey and Braden as they are listening to this. But that will be a packed show on a very packed day on Sunday. So lots to look forward to, and just 2 interviews to let people be aware of. Today is the 30th anniversary of Bret Hart and Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog, at Wembley Stadium. So Stephen Bell, who was a guest on the Post Daily News Show earlier this year, chatting about the book he wrote on Dynamite Kid and Bulldog, is on with me today, chatting about that match and all of the different implications, how that event was originally earmarked for Washington, D.C., and then they moved it and they staged it at Wembley Stadium, and all of the different trials and tribulations of Davey Boy Smith that year, that he wins the Intercontinental title, and within 2 months, he's been fired by the WWF. So that's already up on the free feed. And then this Friday, I'm going to be dropping an interview with Michael Landsberg, the former host of TSN's Off the Record. Had a great discussion with Michael Landsberg about many of his very popular interviews, including multiple sit-down interviews with Vince McMahon, all about the process of the launch of Off the Record, how wrestling played a really big role in establishing that brand when it launched in 1997, right after the Owen Hart death, the whole crew flying down to Stamford, Connecticut to do various interviews with the McMahon family. Lots of interesting stories. If you are a Canadian viewer that grew up with Off the Record, I think you'll find it to be a very interesting discussion later on this week that will be dropping.
I'm looking forward to it very much so. You're keeping very busy with these bonus interviews, as if, the regular day-to-day wasn't enough. So, stellar content as always that I'm sure everybody will enjoy.
I was lonely, I needed people to talk to. So, I reached out to strangers. So that was my past month. But we are back into the swing of things. And of course, you can go up to postwrestling.com and keep up to date with all the latest news. I think we're going to dive into Raw and, get some of, Way's thoughts on tonight's show from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the beautiful PPG Paints Arena.